Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to episode number 50. It's a party of the Monday Money Tip Podcast. We are so fired up about this episode because it's number 50. We're going to talk about all the things that happened over the last 50 episodes. It's going to be fantastic. I hope that you like it. That voice that you heard celebrating with me is fellow I Was Broke, Now I'm Not team member David Nimmons. How are you doing today? Are you fired up?
I'm just doing good. Fired up.
You know, he's been sitting in a side room while we record podcast episodes. In the last 3 weeks, he's been a part of the podcast because my regular co-host is out on maternity leave with her little boy, and she'll be back in a few weeks. But in the meantime, super excited to have you guys hear the voice of David, and we're going to celebrate episode number 50. Are you pumped up about this? Share we always have a featured question, so kind of share it as a question. What are we going to do?
Absolutely. Well, today we're celebrating 50 episodes of the Monday Money Tip Podcast. It's time the people spoke. In this episode, we're going to look back at our first 50 episodes and share what we've liked and what you've told us.
That's awesome. And so before we do that, though, of course, we've got to have that special section of the podcast. So let's go to that now.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The current event sponsor, this portion of the podcast is sponsored by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. Their saving and investing tools are designed to help you make more informed decisions. Whether you're wanting to know what your investment strategy will produce for you by retirement age or determining how much you should save for each paycheck for known upcoming non-monthly expenses like Christmas, vacation, car repairs, you'll find all those calculators there. Visit www.iwbnin.com, click on the tools, and select saving and investing.
That's awesome. And so we're super excited about offering those tools. It's great. And today I'm going to talk about the monthly stock market update. It's important to investing. And as of the day of this recording, of course, we have these numbers updated. They'll be different on the day that you're listening to this. They'll be up or down or about the same. It's one of those three options. But I am excited about this current money event section. Did you like that?
Nailed it.
Nailed it. That was really one of the better ones. That was almost like Freddie Mercury with Queen. I just about nailed it right there. It was unbelievable. They actually called me to do the Bohemian Rhapsody. It was awesome. Easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Hey, any way the wind blows.
Have you watched that movie?
Yeah, I have. It was awesome.
I just watched it recently.
I watched it on an airplane ride. I've flown on a lot of airplanes, in case you don't know.
I did not realize how many songs of Queen that I actually knew.
Oh, yeah, they're awesome.
When they were just playing, I was like, hey, I know that. Hey, I know that one.
It was awesome.
Interesting.
Yeah, that guy's really
My wife did
really
not
talented.
watch it. She was watching Hallmark instead.
Of course she was. That was great. Yep. And maybe in another future episode, we'll have you talk about the time you cut off cable and then left for the weekend and also cut off internet.
Interesting.
Woo! It was very special. In an effort to save $5.
I love you, Amanda.
But in the meantime, it's time for the monthly stock market update. Here's where the major indexes are as of the date of recording this episode. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, 25,644. Dropped about 1,000 points since Chinese tariffs talk has started again. Who knows where we'll be at by the time this podcast releases. It changes on the hour, and it's very important that we're having that conversation. It's good for the world economy to have that conversation. It's going to affect stocks, and of course, if it's not, it'll be one thing. If it's not, another. The NASDAQ is at 7849.27, and the S&P, the Standard & Poor's 500 index, is at 2,846.72, and the Russell 2000, the aggregate of 2,000 companies in the United States of America, is 1,558.66. And so it's good to keep track of this. Again, I don't invest money unless I don't need it for at least 5 years. So these numbers on a daily basis do not matter to me. I make decisions under the guidance of Warren Buffett, who says, I'm making the decision on whether or not I want to own this company 10 years from now. And so I think of things in long term, but it is good to pay attention to it on a short order basis. And so I hope you do as well. I hope you don't just get your reports once a month or once a quarter in your email or in the mail and just toss it unopened in a corner. Pay attention to it. It's very important to pay attention to your investments. Proverbs 27:23 says the shepherd knows the status of his flocks. You need to know the status of your oxen out there working for you. And so that's it for today's current money events section. Let's go to a success story.
Awesome. So this is a success story from James and Sarah. My husband and I really enjoyed your visit with us at Maysville Baptist Church. We've also taken the Dave Ramsey course in the past, and good as he was, we found yours very beneficial. Beneficial by how you paid off your house by coloring off the blocks of your printout sheet. We think it's great how you have printouts for about any type of things, from homes to cars to even animals. That's funny. The sense of humor you put in it, Joe, is priceless. We're looking forward to taking the study our church will be doing here in the next few weeks. You've made it possible and easier for us to tithe by showing us how to budget both more effectively, efficiently, and diligently. This was always an uphill battle for us. We gave our first tithe the evening after hearing you in church that morning. Thank you so much. From James and Sarah.
That's awesome. That's a great story.
Absolutely.
And super excited about that. One of the things that she mentions, James and Sarah mentioned, Sarah wrote this, I guess. She says, my husband and I, she mentions about how I paid off a home by coloring in the blocks.
Yes, payoff spectaculars. And
that's a payoff spectacular. And they're all located on our website at iwasbrokenowimnot.com. But she also talks about humor. And one of the things that I said when I first started out to teach this is I know this topic of money can be fraught with tension and challenges. And so I just said, if I'm going to talk about money, we're going to have to make it funny, because it really is the great disarmor.
Yeah.
And I know that you've seen that as we've traveled and
Absolutely.
taught together. Another thing is showing us how to budget effectively, efficiently, and diligently. And that's interesting, because effectively means it helps us tell us where our money to go. Efficiently means we did it easily. That's the power of a free template. And diligently means we can actually do this. They feel like they can stick with it. So those are three very important words, LY words: effectively, efficiently, and diligently. But they seem very fired up, and that's awesome. I really appreciate James and Sarah taking the time to send us that success story.
Yes.
As always, we want to hear your stories. And so let's talk about the featured question of this episode again.
Absolutely. It's time to The People Spoke. In this episode, we're going to look back at our first 50 episodes and share what they liked and what they told us.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I thought what I would do is just go look at the statistics. And you've kind of told us by what you've watched, what you've shared, what you've commented on, what you've liked, that sort of thing. And so I thought I'd share our top podcast episodes. And so the drum roll, please. We're going to go up in order. So number 4, we're going to go with top 4. Number 4 is how to teach your kids about money. That was the number 4 episode. It's episode number 7. And then our next one, number 3, was how to live generously while still in debt. Believe it or not, this generosity episode is one that really captured people's attention, got their minds thinking, got their wheels spinning, and maybe got some traction on that topic. It's something people really want to do. They want to live generously. They want to be able to give their kids, their friends, their church, things they care about. But how do you do that when you feel like you're strapped down with debt? And believe it or not, the second one goes with that, and it was tithing, gross or net income. Do you tithe on your gross income or net income? And so I think a lot of pastors picked up on that and shared it with their church and that sort of thing. And I know that many people might think it's self-serving to say tithe on the gross versus the net or whatever. Listen, podcast listener, I have no vested interest in how you choose to give or tithe. But I will tell you this, just from my own personal experience, I tithe on my gross income. I've never regretted it.
Yeah.
And so I know you do the same, and it's something that is super important. I encourage you to go listen to episode number 9, tithing, gross versus net income. And drum roll, number 1, I'll let you share it, David. What was number 1?
Creating a budget that actually works.
That's right, creating a budget that actually works. It turns out this topic of budgeting, y'all can't get enough of it. That is something that you really want to get great at. It's something that you continue to struggle with. But I encourage you to listen to that. It was episode number 1, believe it or not. So maybe that's one of the reasons to listen to it. It's our first released episode. But it is one of the top topics that people ask us about.
Absolutely.
It's what they struggle with the most. And if you can get a budget going, we call that the engine in the car to financial freedom. And that is your dreams that really provide the fuel for that engine to actually run.
Yeah.
And so that's a pretty good analogy, I think. So our top podcast episodes, of course, you can find these episodes where you just found it, Google Play, Stitcher, iTunes. You can find our episodes also on our website at josephsangle.com, iwasbrokenowimnot.com. We really want to make sure that we're able to serve you however you like to receive this podcast. And then we had some key moments happen in this podcast. And so we started out with 2 episodes a month. And so we kind of did every other week and then kind of skipped a week when we had those extra weeks in a month. And then we made the decision at the start of 2018 to go to every single, actually, it was started 2019.
Yeah.
Seems like
time is
7 years
fun
ago.
when you're having fun.
At the start of 2019 in January, started the weekly episodes. And so that's been a lot of fun. We've had all these weekly episodes, and that's how we've gotten to 50 much faster. And then we launched on YouTube. Yeah, we on YouTube. Check out the YT. And you actually see us talking here, and you can see the awkwardness and everything else that goes on, papers being shifted and shuffled and production happening. It was awesome. So those are some of the key moments. We had the YouTube launch, and then I listed one of the other key moments is Megan's baby boy arrived.
Woohoo!
And so Logan Scott showed up, and I know she talked a lot about, that baby coming, and it was her first child, and she and Jordan were so excited, and along came March, and baby boy showed up about right on time. And that's a key moment because now she gets to introduce to the cost of a child and raising a child. And I know all of y'all join me in congratulating her, and she'll be joining us in upcoming episodes soon. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about Logan Scott. It's going to be great. And so those are some key moments that happen along the way. And I would also list some other key moments that happen is the fact that we chose to be able to talk about right now relevant topics, that the current money events that people have really, what our listeners have liked, and we've heard a lot about this, is me singing the words current money events. And I'm not sure whether our listeners like me singing it as much as they loved how much Megan hated it. And so they say that if you're listening to it, you can actually hear how much she does not like me singing it and how frustrated she is and how she can't get me talked out of doing that. And so I think there's many people who literally skip to about 5, 6, 7 minutes into the episode so they can hear me
Just to
sing
hear that.
it.
Okay.
So when I sing current money events section like that, they just, for some reason, like it better than our jingle that we paid money for. I think we paid $32 for that jingle to be produced for real. If you haven't heard of Fiverr, Fiverr.com, it's a way you can get a lot of stuff done really cheap from artists. And so we got it done there, and so it's great. Some other things that people liked is they loved hearing the success stories portion of the podcast, that it really inspires them and really helps them stay on track themselves. And that's true. And I will tell you, as a podcast host, I love it. And being able to dive into those stories and be able to think through what they're really saying between the lines is something really valuable. And so you've received success stories. You've seen them come in. We hang them on the wall. Tell them what that means to you and what you feel like that means to our team to hear about success stories.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things, even before I go there, I think the idea, many people are in a situation, they feel like their situation is distinct. No one has experienced the situation that they're at. And so hearing that success stories from other people really gives them the encouragement and the confidence to say, hey, this person has experienced a very similar situation than my story, and they've come out on top. They've got through that. But, just for people that email in, make phone calls, we love it. It really does get us fired up because it helps remind us what we're doing. It keeps us to keep sort of hands to the plow and continue to move forward, that, you're not just creating content or creating a resource or creating a book. You're participating as a I Was Broke staff member, employee in life change. And so it's awesome to hear those and just to see where the light bulbs go off. People are beginning to dream again, beginning to walk forward and advance. And that gets us fired up.
Absolutely. Gets really fired up. And I would just say for all of you out in podcast listener land is we really want you to be successful. That's the whole reason we started this podcast. As you can tell, we sponsor it ourselves. We are our own sponsor. We want to sponsor someday, but we want to have the right sponsor. But we do this because we know that, money is a journey. In fact, I kind of put together some ideas and some thoughts about what I've enjoyed most. And one of them is being a regular part of people's money journey.
Yeah.
We say all the time that money is a journey, not just one moment. Of course, your journey is marked by moments. My journey was marked by a moment when I went into the HR office and said, max out my contribution to my 401k. That decision was a moment that marked my journey. My decision to say no to future debt and chopped up my credit cards in December of 2002 was a moment that marked my journey. However, it was the day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month, living that out, keeping that decision.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to go back to HR and say, I don't like that, change it back. Mm-hmm. It's easy to say, I want a credit card again. It's easy to say, I'm going to finance a car again. It's easy to do all that stuff. It's part of the journey. And the way you stay with the journey is by having regular encouragement. I really believe it. Accountability, equal parts accountability and encouragement. And so humor has really been a part of it. And I love bringing some humor to it, some element to humor. Many people are exhausted, and I had a dream that I was exhausted and that I was a muffler on a car. I was exhausted, terrible joke. Dad joke. You guys can use that. Had another person say they've been exhausted since they were 8 years old. I think many people listening to the podcast right now are kind of exhausted like that. But here's what I know. Being a part of people's money journeys, not just one time through a book, not just one time at a live event, a financial learning experience or financial coaching experience that I was broke, now I'm not core coaching program, or the budgeting challenge or the saving challenge or any other thing we came up, or a free tool. But all along the way, kind of being there, coaching you, helping you, maybe have some humor along the way, but also being accountable to making progress. And I've also loved that the podcast has given me an outlet to talk about a lot of other topics, way beyond what I can talk about in a weekend message at a church or in a 15-minute TED Talk style talk or in a coaching session. It allows me to talk about lots of the things that affect us in our finances. And so I've had a lot of fun with that.
What has been a topic that really gets you fired up and excited?
One of the biggest topics that gets me fired up is talking about people that take risk, entrepreneurial people that are starting stuff or they're buying a broken business and fixing it up. I love talking about cash flow planning for small businesses because or for people that have seasonal, cyclical, irregular income. It goes up and down. It's more challenging. It's more complex, yet it is possible. Yeah. And in fact, those people generally have the ability to produce way more income, usually because they're commission salespeople. They have that ability to just make stuff happen, make it rain. And so I really enjoy that part of it. Yeah. And so, and I love answering people's questions when they email in their questions and we feature on the podcast. It's an outlet for us to do that and not only help that one person, but we get to help literally hundreds and hundreds and thousands of other people. And so I would just tell you the helpful tool and app for this session is to go to our website at iwasbrokenowimnot.com and get started on that next step for you, whatever that might be. Whether it's downloading a budget tool or calculating your debt freedom date, or whether it's downloading the I Was Broke Now I'm Not ladder at iwbnin.com/ladder, picking up a copy of our book, I Was Broke Now I'm Not, Oxen, or for your children, what everyone should know about money before they enter the real world. Those are resources that you can put in your hands and in the hands of your children to really help them get a vision for their financial future. And so I guess the key financial quote is, it's the power of persistence is what allows you to accomplish great things. Little steps over long, protracted periods of time is what allows you to accomplish great things. And so I think the one thing that we could talk about there is I've done it with my house. I've done it when I bought a business and brought in some investors and we paid them off along the way. I've done it myself, this diligence, and be able to share that with the confidence with people saying they can do it too, that if I did it, they can do it, is really helpful. And you're on your own diligent journey right now, right? Yeah. Paying off your house.
Absolutely. Our goal is to try to get that sucker going in the next 3 years or so.
And we're, that's something that it takes persistence.
Absolutely.
Over a long period of time. And so we've loved the first 50 episodes. We're looking forward to the next ones. And we want to be able to answer your questions and be able to serve you with right now relevant information. And so we want you to make sure that you email us those questions. That'll be great. So I guess we're going to go to the hot seat now.
Absolutely,
Let's go. Put me
absolutely.
in the
So
hot
I'm ready.
seat.
So, Mr. Joe Sangle, if you could be in any movie,
Yeah.
who would you wait? Hold on. I asked that question terribly wrong. Hold on. Let me just switch the gears. If you could be in any movie, what movie would it be? And
who would I be?
And who would you be?
Okay. Well, it would not
What
be
movie?
Grizzly Man.
Okay, I've never seen
It's
Grizzly
a-
Man.
It's a documentary of a dude who lived with grizzly bears,
Okay,
and he loved them, and he talked nice to him, and then one of them ate him.
that's
So
not
I don't
good.
want to be that character.
So
And
what
although
movie?
it was fascinating,
What movie would you want to be in?
man.
Like a war movie, like a
No, I don't wanna be
Rocky
any of those.
action movie.
No. I want to be in like Dumb and Dumber and just have mind-numbing humor that doesn't require much thought and just something like that. I love slapstick comedy that makes hardly any sense and is
Okay.
eye-rolling yet hilarious at the same time. That type of thing. Adam Sandler's Waterboy,
Yes.
Tommy Boy with Chris Farley, Jim Carrey's movies. Those are the type of things that kind of, I guess I spend most of the day using my brain a lot. And so I want something that doesn't
Yeah.
really require a lot of my brain.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people are there. They're very busy and they just want to be able to get away from reality for a little bit and laugh for a while. And if you can have a good belly laugh, I mean, how long has it been since you've had a good belly laugh where you laughed till you cried?
Yes.
You know, most people it's been a while.
So
And
you would want to star in a comedy. That's funny. I thought
Yeah.
you would select some hunting movie. We've talked about some movie. What's the movie where you are the huntee?
Yo, The Most Dangerous Game.
Yes.
No, I hate that.
Yeah,
That's
you
awful.
you could be that guy
That gave me
being
nightmares
chased.
for years when they assigned me to read that in high school.
Interesting enough. Interesting enough. I think I'd want to be in an action movie.
Yeah, great.
I don't know. So interesting. So, hey, the next question I have is, hey, what is something that you want to accomplish?
I've already accomplished it.
This year.
I've already
This year,
accomplished
in
it.
2019,
I've already
you want to
accomplished
accomplish
it.
it. What is it?
My wife has had a dream of a hole in the ground for a long time,
Ooh.
a pool. And so we made the plunge, so to speak. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Plunge. And so we dug a hole in the ground, a very expensive hole in the ground.
Did you literally just put money in the hole in the ground?
I did. I threw money in a hole in the ground, but my wife seems very happy and the kids are very happy. And so we've got a slide and we've got a diving board and we have a cuddle cove where you can sit in the water and it's pretty awesome.
Summertime. That's pool time. I love it.
Yeah. Come on
So-
over.
Hey, the third and final question. And I think I know this answer just because I know you. Which family member are you the closest to?
Well, I have an identical twin, so that's pretty close.
Yes.
But I'm very close to all my brothers. We go on family trips together at least twice a year. Even at this age, I'm the youngest of 6 boys. And so we go fishing in Minnesota every single summer, and all of us usually make it. And then during Christmas holidays, we all get together as well.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty close to all of them. And my oldest brother's 14 years older than me. The next one's 12 years older, and the next one's 9 years older, and the next one's 6 years older, and the other one's 7 minutes older.
Yeah.
So I'm the baby by 7 minutes. But the older brothers actually were really cool because they would have me and my twin over to their house a lot when we were younger, let us get away with stuff that mom and dad would never let us get away with. And so they built a lot of great rapport with us as their little brothers. And as we moved into adulthood, now we're all old people. It's crazy. I'm in my mid-40s. What happened?
Come on.
I mean, one of them might be getting near 60. Good grief. And so pretty close to all of them. Love them all.
Absolutely. I figured you would have your twin John as that closest member. So let's talk about we've celebrated the 50th anniversary,
Yep.
50th episode. Now let's talk about next episode.
Yep, the next one is the first step to get to 50. The journey to 50 started with the first one. What's the journey to 100 look like? Number 51.
Absolutely. Top money questions.
Yep. So we're going to talk. It's the last one of the month. So we're going to be having this episode release, I think, on June 23rd, 24th, and June 24th. And so we'll be talking about your top money questions. And so we want to answer your questions rapid style, one after another. They won't be related. They'll be one after another. Good variety show. If you like today's episode, please help us get the podcast so other people could benefit. Celebrate with us. We're so excited to make it to episode number 50. On the last Monday of the month, as we said, we're going to answer your top money questions. There's still time to get yours in. Who knows? It might be featured on the podcast. And if you've implemented one of our tips, share your success stories with us by emailing us at info@iwbnin.com, info@iwbnin.com. And we're super excited to help you in your money journey. I hope you have a great week. Hope you listen to this on a Monday. There's still time to make great improvements to your finances over the next 4 days of the week. Make sure you do something positive, do something great, and who knows, you just might change the trajectory of your financial journey. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.